The space station's market was loud, messy, and full of broken things. Lights flickered above old stalls. Traders shouted prices trying to sell machines that no longer worked, scraps of metal, and forgotten items from ships long gone. In the middle of all this chaos walked a man named Aaron. He was not rich. In fact, he barely had enough credits to survive. But he had a habit. He loved searching for strange things, objects that others ignored. Many people called him a dreamer. Others called him a fool. He did not care. Aaron always believed that the universe still held secrets in the smallest corners. On this day, his eyes caught something odd. At the very back of the market, almost hidden under a broken tarp, stood a large crate. Its surface was rusty, scratched, and covered with dust. No trader was paying attention to it. Aaron stepped closer. The crate had strange marks on its side. At first they looked like simple scratches, but when the light flickered over them, the marks seemed to glow faintly. It was only for a second, but Aaron saw it. Symbols. Symbols he had never seen before. A stall owner noticed him staring. The man laughed. "You want that? It's nothing but junk. Been here for years. No one wants it." Aaron placed his hand on the metal. It felt cold, much colder than anything else in the market. "How much?" he asked. The stall owner smirked. 2 credits? If you can carry it, it's yours, 2 credits. That was almost nothing. A single meal cost more than that. Aaron did not think twice. He handed over the credits, and the seller laughed again, shaking his head. "You just wasted your money, friend." "It's just an old box," but Aaron was not sure. Something inside him whispered differently. He pushed and pulled the crate through the narrow market paths. People stared, some laughing, some shaking their heads. One man shouted, "Hey dreamer, buying trash again?" But Aaron kept moving. When he finally reached his small living quarters, sweat ran down his face. The crate was heavy, much heavier than it looked. He dropped it onto the floor with a loud metallic thud. Dust filled the air. For a long moment, Aaron simply stared at it. His small room was dark, only a single lamp shining. And under that lamp, the crate looked alive. The glowing symbols appeared again, clearer this time. They pulsed faintly as if the crate was breathing. Aaron stepped back. His heart beat faster. "This is not normal," he whispered to himself. He touched the crate again. Suddenly, a soft hum filled the room. It was quiet but deep, like a hidden engine turning on after a long sleep. Aaron pulled his hand away in shock. The hum stopped. He touched it again. The hum returned. His mouth went dry. He had bought hundreds of useless items before, but never had he felt something like this. He looked closer at the glowing marks. They were not random scratches at all. They were shapes, patterns, maybe even letters from a language not human. Aaron ran his fingers across them. For a moment, he felt a vibration run through his arm. His skin tingled as if the crate was trying to speak to him. He stepped back again, unsure. Fear mixed with excitement. What if it was dangerous? What if he had just brought a bomb into his room? But at the same time, what if it was something else? Something important? He walked around the crate, studying every side. One corner had an old locking system. Rust covered most of it, but Aaron could see it was not made by any company he knew. The lock looked ancient but strange, like it belonged to a time before his world even existed. He thought about leaving it closed. Maybe he should sell it again, give it away, or throw it back into the market. But curiosity burned inside him. Aaron was not a man who could walk away from a mystery. He fetched his small tools. Slowly, carefully, he began to work on the lock. Metal scraped. Sparks jumped. The hum grew louder every time his tool hit the crate. As he worked, shadows danced on the walls. The air grew heavy, almost electric. Aaron felt like he was being watched. He turned around quickly, but no one was there. Only the crate glowing faintly in the dark. Finally, with a sharp crack, the lock broke. Aaron froze. The hum stopped. The crate was silent now. Silent, but waiting. He placed his hand on the lid. It was warm. Slowly, he pressed down. The lid shifted as if it wanted to open by itself. Aaron's breath caught in his throat. He pulled back. His whole body shook with fear and wonder. He had bought a simple crate for 2 credits. But inside, he knew, was not junk. Inside was something that had been waiting for a very long time, and it was waiting for him. The crate sat in Aaron's room like a sleeping beast. Its heavy lid had shifted by itself, leaving a thin line of glowing light across the dark floor. The glow was not harsh, not blinding, but soft, like the first light of dawn. Yet it was enough to make Aaron's hands tremble. He had lived his life surrounded by broken machines, piles of scrap, and dull iron. But this was different. This was alive. Aaron leaned forward slowly. The room was quiet except for his breathing. He touched the edge of the crate with his fingertips. The metal was no longer cold. It was warm, pulsing like the skin of some great animal. A sudden hiss of air escaped from inside. The lid moved again just a little, enough for the glow to spill brighter. Aaron's heart pounded in his ears. He wanted to run, but his legs refused to move. Finally, with a soft groan, the lid slid open wide enough for him to look inside. Aaron's eyes widened. He had expected tools, metal, maybe old parts of a ship. Instead, inside the crate lay 8 tall pods lined neatly in 2 rows of 4. Each pod was made of glass that shimmered faintly. And inside each pod, a shape, a figure. Aaron froze. The figures were human-like, lying still as if asleep. He moved closer, his breath shallow. In the nearest pod, he saw the face of a woman. Her skin glowed faintly, smooth like polished stone, and her long hair floated softly inside the liquid that filled the pod. Her eyes were closed, but her face was calm, almost peaceful, like someone waiting to wake. Aaron stepped back quickly. His mind raced. What was this? Who were they? Why had they been locked inside a crate like junk? As his thoughts spun, a low sound filled the room. One of the pods began to hum. Its glass flickered with light and bubbles rose inside the liquid. Aaron's eyes locked on it, fear and awe battling inside him. The hum grew louder. A crack formed in the glass. Then another. The pod shook, glowing brighter and brighter. Aaron stumbled back, nearly tripping over his chair. He raised his hands as if to shield himself. With a sharp snap, the pod split open. Liquid spilled onto the floor, glowing faintly before fading away. And then, she stepped out, the woman from the pod, tall, graceful, with skin that seemed to carry the light of stars within it. Her eyes opened, glowing like twin moons. She looked at Aaron, not with fear, not with anger, but with something else. Recognition. Aaron's lips moved, but no sound came. He wanted to ask who she was, what she was, but his voice had abandoned him. The woman took one step forward, her bare feet leaving no sound on the metal floor. She tilted her head, studying him. For a long moment, neither spoke. Then she whispered a single word. Her voice was soft, but it carried through the room as if the walls themselves repeated it. Freedom. The word made Aaron shiver. He swallowed hard, finally finding his voice. Who are you? The woman did not answer. Instead, she looked around the room, her glowing eyes falling on the other pods. She raised her hand. The marks on the crate lit up again, brighter now. The remaining pods stirred, their lights flickering like waking hearts. Aaron's eyes widened. No, wait, stop! He shouted, but it was too late. One by one, the pods began to hum. The glow filled the small room, drowning it in otherworldly light. Each pod cracked, spilling its strange liquid onto the floor. And one by one, figures began to step out, 7 more women, each different. One had silver skin that shimmered like water. Another's hair flickered with sparks of fire. A third's body seemed almost transparent, like a living ghost. They stood tall, graceful and silent, forming a circle around Aaron. He could barely breathe. 8 alien women, each more beautiful and more terrifying than anything he had ever seen, now filled his tiny room. Aaron's voice shook. Why me? Why are you here? The first woman, the one who had spoken, looked at him again. Her eyes glowed brighter. Because you opened the crate, she said softly. Because you are the one. Aaron's heart stopped. The one, what? He asked. Before she could answer, a sudden alarm blared outside. The sharp sound echoed through the station walls. Aaron froze. That alarm was not normal. It was the security alarm. The alien women turned toward the door, their glowing eyes narrowing. Aaron's fear grew. Someone had noticed. Someone knew the crate had awakened and they were coming. The alarm outside screamed like a warning from the station itself. Red lights flashed through the small cracks in Aran's door, pulsing in rhythm with the pounding footsteps in the corridor. Aran's chest tightened. He had no weapons, no plan, nothing but fear and the 8 strange beings who now stood in his room. The first woman, the one who had whispered freedom, turned her glowing eyes to him. Her face was calm, but her voice carried weight. They are coming for us. Aaron's throat went dry. Who's coming? Before she could answer, the metal door shook under a heavy impact. A fist, a boot? Whatever it was, it made the entire frame rattle. Aaron jumped back, his heart racing. The 8 women stood in silence. But their eyes glowed brighter, each in a different color. Blue, green, gold, silver, red, as if each one carried a different star inside her. Aaron whispered almost to himself, "What are you?" One of them stepped forward. She was taller than the rest, her silver skin reflecting the flashing red lights. When she spoke, her voice was calm, almost cold. "We are guardians. We were hidden, sealed away, and now because of you we are free." Aaron shook his head quickly. No, I didn't mean I just bought a crate. 2 credits. I didn't know you were inside." Another woman, the one with fire-like hair, gave a small smile. "And yet you opened it. That makes you our master." The word struck Aaron like a blast of air. "Master? No, I'm no one's master. I'm just—" The door slammed again, harder this time. A crack appeared near the lock. Aaron's panic grew. Whoever was outside would break in within seconds. The women, however, did not panic. They moved as one, stepping into a loose circle around Aaron. Their glowing eyes turned toward the door, sharp and ready. The first woman placed her hand on his shoulder. Her touch was warm, steady. "You must not fear. We were created to protect, to fight, to awaken when the time is right." Aaron stared at her. His voice broke. "Protect from what?" The door exploded inward. Metal shards flew across the room. The crash was deafening. Dark figures stormed in. Bounty hunters armored head to toe in black, their helmets glowing with red visors. They carried heavy rifles humming with deadly energy. "There," one of them shouted. "The crate is open." Aaron froze in terror. The hunters raised their weapons, but before a single shot could fire, the 8 alien women moved. The silver-skinned one lifted her hand. The air itself bent, and the first hunter was slammed against the wall, his weapon crushed like paper. The fire-haired woman let out a sharp cry. Flames burst from her palms, circling her like whips. She struck 2 hunters, their armor glowing red-hot before they collapsed. Another woman, the one who looked almost transparent, simply walked forward. Bullets passed through her body as if she were smoke. She touched a hunter's chest and his entire suit shut down, leaving him motionless on the floor. Aaron could not believe his eyes. His tiny room became a battlefield of fire, light, and raw power. The hunters screamed, weapons firing wildly, but the women were faster, stronger, unstoppable. Within seconds, the fight was over. The room smelled of smoke and metal. Broken armor pieces scattered across the floor. The bounty hunters lay defeated, groaning or unconscious. Aaron pressed himself against the wall, shaking. He stared at the women. His voice was weak. What are you? How do you have this power?" The first woman stepped closer. She looked at him with eyes that seemed older than time itself. "We are the last creations of the ancients," she said. "We were hidden in this crate to wait for the one who would find us." Aaron's hands trembled. "But why me? I'm just a junk collector. I don't even have enough credits for a good meal." The woman smiled gently, though her eyes still glowed with power. "Because the ancients chose you. Not for who you are now, but for who you will become." Aaron's breath caught. He didn't understand. He didn't want to understand. All he knew was that he was standing in his small broken room with 8 alien women who had just crushed an armed squad without effort. And outside, the alarm still screamed. The silver-skinned guardian spoke again, her voice sharp. "More will come. They will not stop until they have us. Or until we are dead." Aaron's legs felt weak. "What do we do?" he whispered. The first woman's hand rested on his shoulder again. "You must lead us. If you don't, we will all die here." Aaron stared at her, lost, afraid, and yet unable to look away. 8 alien beauties stood ready, waiting for his choice. Outside, the sound of marching boots grew louder, echoing through the station halls. He had spent only 2 credits. But now, the weight of an entire galaxy had fallen on his shoulders. The station shook with the booming voice that echoed through every speaker. "Surrender the crate, or the entire sector will be purged." The words rolled like thunder, cold and merciless. Red emergency lights spun across the ceiling, casting sharp shadows over Aaron's room. He pressed his hands against his ears, but the voice still thundered inside his skull. The 8 alien women stood tall and silent. Their glowing eyes reflected the red light, making them look even more otherworldly. They did not tremble. They did not fear. Aaron, however, felt his legs weaken. "They'll kill everyone," he whispered. "Not just me. Not just you. The whole station." The first woman, her name still unknown to him, turned to him calm as a still ocean. "They will not stop. They have hunted us across centuries. Wherever we go, destruction follows." Aaron grabbed his hair with both hands, panic rising. "Why? Why are they after you?" The silver-skinned woman stepped forward, her voice sharp and clear. "Because we are not meant to exist. We are the last weapons of the ancients. If they capture us, they will use us to rule the stars. If they cannot capture us, they will destroy us." Aaron's throat went dry. He had bought the crate for 2 credits, a foolish gamble. Now he realized it was not a gamble at all, it was a trap. He was standing at the center of a war he did not understand. The door to his room sparked again. More footsteps approached, heavier this time. Not just bounty hunters, soldiers, whole squads. The fire-haired woman clenched her fists, flames flickering around her arms. They will come in waves, stronger every time. Aaron's eyes darted from one glowing figure to another. "You can't fight the whole station." The transparent guardian, her body flickering like smoke, shook her head. "Not the station. The Syndicate. They control everything. They built this warning into the walls themselves. They own the air we breathe." The words hit Aaron like a blow. He wanted to scream, to run, to throw the crate out of an airlock and pretend none of this had ever happened. But he knew it was too late. The metal door groaned, then burst inward. A squad of armored soldiers stormed in, their boots shaking the floor. Their black rifles hummed with deadly blue light. "Target acquired," one shouted. Aaron ducked behind his table, covering his head. Energy blasts tore through the room, scorching walls and smashing furniture. Sparks flew like fireworks, but the guardians did not run. The silver-skinned woman raised her hand. A wall of shimmering light spread before her, catching the blast like glass. Each shot bent and twisted away, striking the walls instead. The fire-haired guardian answered with flame. Her arms swung in wide arcs, hurling fire like whips. Soldiers screamed as their armor melted, their visors burning red. The transparent guardian vanished into smoke, slipping through the soldiers like a ghost. Her touch froze weapons, locked armor, silenced enemies. Another guardian with golden eyes stepped forward. She spoke a single word in a language Aaron did not know. The floor shook. Soldiers fell as invisible chains bound them to the ground. Aaron peeked from behind the table, his jaw hanging open. His room had become a storm of fire, light, and crushing power. Within moments, the soldiers were defeated, weapons scattered, bodies groaning on the ground. But more footsteps echoed from the hall. Louder, heavier, endless. The first woman placed her glowing hand on Aaron's shoulder. "We cannot stay here. If we do, this station will burn." Aaron shook his head wildly. "I don't even have a ship. How do we escape?" One of the guardians smiled faintly. Her hair was blue, shimmering like water. "We do not need a ship. We have you." Aaron's eyes widened. "Me, I'm nothing. I'm no fighter. I'm no leader." The woman leaned closer, her voice soft but fierce. "You are the one who opened the crate. That makes you our key." Before Aaron could answer, the station shook violently. Explosions boomed in the distance. Through the tiny window in his room, he saw it, a massive warship uncloaking outside, its black hull covering the stars. The Syndicate had arrived, Aaron's stomach twisted with dread. This was no longer a simple fight. This was war. The Guardians gathered close to him. Their glowing eyes locked onto his. "You must choose," the first woman said. "Stay and die with the station, or escape with us into the void." Aaron's lips trembled. He wanted to refuse. He wanted to deny everything. But deep inside, he knew there was no choice left. The alarm screamed. The footsteps thundered closer. The warship outside aimed its weapons, and Aaron, the poor junk collector who had spent only 2 credits, realized his life and the lives of everyone around him now rested in his shaking hands. The room shook again, harder this time. Dust rained from the ceiling and the floor groaned under the shock of distant explosions. Through the cracked window, Aaron saw the Syndicate warship outside. Its massive cannons glowed like suns ready to burn the station to ash. Aaron's knees almost gave out. He could barely breathe. "We can't escape that," he gasped. "That ship could destroy us in one shot." The first woman, her voice calm even in chaos, stepped closer. Her glowing eyes locked onto his. "We must move now. Before Aaron could argue, the crate itself answered. Its surface lit up, glowing symbols racing across the rusted metal like fireflies. Then, with a sharp crack, a hidden panel slid open at its base. Inside was a small shining cube. It projected a map. Lines of light stretched across Iran's floor, showing the station's hidden tunnels. One line blinked brighter than the rest, leading to the docking bay. The woman nodded. The ancients left us a path. We must follow it. Aaron stared at the glowing map. His mind screamed at him to run, to hide, to do anything but follow these alien women into the unknown. Yet something inside him whispered, "You already opened the crate. There is no turning back." The fire-haired guardian grabbed his wrist. Her hand burned hot, but not painfully. "Move, human, or die here." Aaron stumbled after them as the 8 women moved in unison. They glided across the floor like shadows of light, leading him to the hidden passage under the crate. A section of the floor shifted, revealing a maintenance hatch. The station quaked again. The voice of the Syndicate boomed through the walls. "Final warning. Surrender the crate or we will purge the station." Aaron swallowed hard. He had no choice. He followed them down the hatch. The tunnels were dark, narrow, and filled with the stench of rust and old oil. Pipes rattled above, dripping with water. The alarms echoed faintly, but down here the air was heavy with silence. The guardians moved with grace, their glowing eyes cutting through the dark like lanterns. Aaron stumbled behind, trying to keep up. His breath came in sharp gasps. At one point he whispered, "Why me? Why are you following me? You're the powerful ones. I'm just nobody." The silver-skinned guardian turned her head, her face shining in the dark. "You are not nobody. You are the one chosen to open the crate. That makes you more than you believe." Aaron shook his head. "I didn't choose. A sudden roar shook the tunnel. Behind them, metal burst apart as Syndicate soldiers forced their way in. Blue lights from their rifles cut through the dark. "Run," the fire-haired guardian shouted. The women moved faster, their powers flashing in the narrow space. One bent the light, cloaking their group in shifting shadows. Another created a barrier of shimmering air, blocking the soldiers' fire. Aaron tripped, nearly falling, but a gentle hand caught him. The water-haired guardian pulled him back up, her cool touch steady. "Do not stop," she said softly. "They will never stop." Finally, the tunnel opened into a vast chamber, the old docking bay. Broken ships had abandoned, their hulls cracked and rusted. The bay smelled of fuel and dust, untouched for years. Aaron's heart sank. None of these ships could fly, but the guardians moved with purpose. They led him to the far corner, where a large tarp covered something hidden. Together they pulled it free. Beneath lay a small cargo ship, battered but intact. Its hull was marked with the same glowing symbols as the crate. Aaron's jaw dropped. This isn't mine." The first woman's voice was calm, almost reverent. "It was always yours. The ancients prepared it for you." Aaron shook his head wildly. "I can't fly this. I barely know how to pilot a shuttle." The golden-eyed guardian stepped forward. Her voice was firm. "You do not need to know. We will guide you. But you must sit in the pilot's seat. Only then will the ship answer." The heavy doors to the docking bay groaned. Soldiers were coming. The Syndicate's warship loomed outside, blocking any normal escape. Aaron's chest pounded. His whole life had been small, filled with junk and scraps. And now he was being asked to fly a ship prepared by a dead civilization, with 8 alien women depending on him. He wanted to scream. He wanted to run. But he couldn't, not anymore. He climbed into the pilot's seat. The chair lit up, symbols racing across its surface. His hands trembled as they touched the controls. The ship came alive. Lights flared across the cabin. Engines roared like beasts waking from long sleep. The entire docking bay shook with power. The women took their places, their eyes glowing brighter than ever. The doors crashed open behind them. Soldiers stormed in, shouting, "Weapons ready, go!" The first woman commanded. Aaron clenched his jaw. His hands gripped the controls. The ship lifted, metal screaming as it forced itself free from years of silence. With a deafening roar, it shot forward. The docking bay doors shattered open, spilling them into the void of space, and there it was, the Syndicate warship. Black, massive, blocking the stars, its cannons glowing with deadly light. Aaron's breath caught. "We're dead," he whispered. The first woman leaned close, her glowing eyes fierce. "Not if you trust us." The void of space stretched endless and dark. Stars glittered like cold eyes, and behind them the Syndicate warship loomed, a beast of iron and shadow. Its massive cannons pulsed with deadly light, ready to strike. Aaron's hand shook on the ship's controls. His small cargo ship looked like a toy against that monster. "We can't fight that," he shouted. "We'll be ash in seconds." The 8 alien women stood around him, calm and glowing. The first woman placed her hand on his shoulder. Her voice was steady, almost gentle. "Trust us. Trust yourself." The warship's cannon fired. A blinding beam of energy ripped through space, aimed directly at them. Aaron screamed and pulled the controls, but the beam was too fast, and then it vanished. For one breathless moment, Aaron thought he had gone blind. But no, the ship had moved. Or rather, the universe had shifted around them. One instant they were in the cannon's path. The next they were far beyond it, stars bending and twisting like waves of water. Aaron's mouth hung open. What just happened?" The silver-skinned guardian answered, her voice like steel. "The ship does not fly. It jumps. This is ancient craft. It bends the void itself." Aaron could barely process her words. His heart still pounded from the near death. "You mean, this thing can teleport?" The golden-eyed guardian nodded. "Yes, but only with you at the helm. You are the key." Aaron shook his head wildly. "No, I'm not a key. I'm just some junk collector. I don't even understand what's happening." The first woman leaned close, her glowing eyes piercing into his. "You will understand. The ancients chose you for a reason." Aaron clenched his fists on the controls. "Why me? Tell me the truth." "What are you really?" The women exchanged glances. Finally, the fire-haired guardian spoke. "We are not only guardians. We are living weapons. The ancients built us to protect humanity when the dark times returned. We were hidden inside the crate, waiting for the one who would awaken us." Aaron's chest tightened. "Living weapons?" The transparent guardian stepped forward, her body shimmering like mist. "Yes, each of us holds a fragment of the ancient power. Light, fire, shadow, water, stone, air, mind, and spirit. Together we are the shield of your people. But alone, we are prey." Aaron leaned back, his voice bitter. "And you expect me to lead you? I can't even lead my own life." The water-haired guardian knelt beside him, her cool presence calming. "Leadership is not given to the strong. It is given to the one who chooses when others cannot. You chose when you opened the crate." Aaron wanted to deny it, to push them away, but deep inside he knew they were right. He had made a choice that day, even if it was only curiosity or desperation. The ship shuddered suddenly. Lights blinked red across the cabin. "They are tracking us," the Silver Guardian warned. "The Syndicate will not give up." Aaron groaned. "Of course they're tracking us. They have a warship the size of a city." The first woman pointed to the glowing map projected on the console. A new star system blinked into view. "We must go here." "The Vault of Echoes," Aaron frowned. "What's there?" "The truth," she answered. Before Aaron could ask more, the ship jolted again. The Syndicate warship had fired another blast. The cargo ship shook, alarm screaming. Aaron slammed the controls. The Guardians spoke in unison, their voices like a chorus of thunder. The symbols on the console blazed and the ship vanished in another impossible jump. When it reappeared, the stars outside were different. A giant blue planet filled the view, its surface glowing faintly with strange patterns like scars of light. Aaron's breath caught. "What is this place?" The first woman's voice dropped low, almost a whisper. "This was the heart of the ancients, their last stronghold, and now it is where you will learn why you were chosen." Aaron turned, his voice trembling. "You keep saying that. Chosen for what?" The golden-eyed guardian stepped closer, her face serious. "To finish what they began, to protect humanity from the Syndicate, to awaken the full power of the Guardians, and to decide if the galaxy will burn or be saved." Aaron's stomach twisted. He wanted to scream that it was impossible, that he was no hero, but deep inside a fire flickered, a dangerous, fragile fire that whispered maybe, just maybe, he was more than a junk collector. The ship descended toward the glowing planet. Energy fields shimmered across its surface like giant shields. Aaron swallowed hard. "And if I fail?" The first woman's eyes glowed brighter. "Then we all die, and humanity dies with us." The planet stretched below them like a sleeping giant, covered in glowing scars of light. Towers of impossible size rose from the surface, their tips shining like beacons in the endless night. As Aaron's ship descended, The air shimmered and a deep hum filled the cabin. It wasn't just sound, it was like the planet itself was alive, breathing. Aaron gripped the controls tighter. His palms were sweaty, his heart a drum in his chest. This place, it's not natural. The first woman stood beside him, her glowing eyes fixed on the towers. It is older than your world. Older than the Syndicate. This is where the ancients hid their greatest secret. The ship landed on a wide platform carved into stone. Strange symbols glowed across its surface, identical to those on the crate. Aaron's breath caught as the symbols pulsed in rhythm with his heartbeat. The Guardians moved first. They stepped out of the ship with graceful certainty as if they had been here before. Aaron followed reluctantly, every part of him screaming to turn back. The air was heavy, filled with static. Aaron's hair stood on end as the ground vibrated under his boots. Then a voice echoed, not in his ears but in his mind. "Welcome, Keeper of the Crate, your trial begins now." Aaron staggered. He clutched his head, looking around in panic. "Did you hear that?" The golden-eyed Guardian nodded calmly. "Yes, the ancients speak. Only to you," the voice returned, deep and commanding. 8 Guardians. 1 Keeper. 1 choice. Before Aaron's eyes, the platform shifted. Stone split apart and a hidden chamber opened. Inside lay a pedestal glowing with golden light. On it rested a single object, a long staff, black as night, crowned with a crystal that pulsed like a heartbeat. The Guardians bowed their heads as one. Their voices joined in a whisper. "The key." Aaron's stomach twisted. "What is it?" The fire-haired Guardian answered, her eyes burning brighter than ever. "It is the weapon of command. With it you can bind us to your will, or set us free." Aaron shook his head violently. "I don't want a weapon. I don't want to control anyone." The silver-skinned Guardian's voice was sharp. "Without it, you are nothing. The Syndicate will find us and all will fall." The transparent Guardian stepped closer, her body flickering like smoke. "But with it, you decide what we become, weapons of war or protectors of life." Aaron felt the weight of their words crash down on him. He looked at the staff. It pulsed faster, as if it was aware of his thoughts. The voice filled his mind again. "Choose, Keeper, command, or release." Suddenly the sky tore open. Above the towers, the Syndicate warship reappeared, its black hull blotting out the stars. Cannons glowed, ready to fire. Alarms echoed through the ruins. The ground shook as smaller ships broke through the clouds, swarming like predators. The Guardians formed a circle around Aaron. Their glowing eyes blazed with power, but they looked at him, not the ships. The first woman spoke softly, almost tender. "You decide our fate. Bind us with the key, and we will fight as weapons, unstoppable and terrible. Release us, and we will become free, but powerless. And then you must stand alone." Aaron's heart raced. His hands trembled. 8 alien women, a weapon of impossible power, the survival of humanity itself. And all of it balanced on his choice. He stepped closer to the pedestal. The staff's glow reached for him, light curling around his fingers. His breath came fast and shallow. Behind him, the Guardians waited. The Syndicate warship thundered overhead, its cannons charging. Aaron whispered, half to himself, half to the universe. "What if I make the wrong choice?" The first woman's voice was steady. "Then everything ends." The staff pulsed brighter, demanding his hand. The ground shook harder. The Syndicate fleet roared closer. Aaron closed his eyes. His fingers hovered above the weapon. One choice: command or release. The voice of the ancients echoed one final time. "Choose, Keeper, and let the galaxy burn or be saved." The screen of light around the pedestal flared. Aaron's hand came down,